Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we have the most special guest we'll ever have on the podcast, and that is my husband, because I'm married now.
Yes.
And we are going to be answering some questions about our weekend wedding, which was the best weekend of our lives. And if you haven't seen the Instagram post, we posted a little bit. I'm gonna keep posting more, of course, but I've been kind of pacing myself as I get back into work. And there's also been some recaps on Instagram stories of kind of like what we did each day of each of the big events that are saved to highlights as well, so that you can check it out. But this is the first episode that Hal has ever done on the podcast, and I'm very proud of him, and I'm very excited. And I feel like it's kind of special that you waited to be my husband to come on the podcast.
It was forced.
Okay, well, whatever. It was.
But I'm excited. I'm excited.
Me and the team. And Olivia was like, "I'm quitting if Hal's not on it." So here we are. He has done the Q&As at the immersion, which have been really amazing. So I'm excited to dive into these questions. And then we also have another episode coming for you guys, which is going to be answering more relationship questions as well with Hal. So that's also something to look forward to. All right, let's dive in. So first question, I feel like this is the perfect one to start out with. What does marriage mean to both of you? Unbelievably happy for you. And this is from Nadine. You know Nadine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nadine.
Wait. Okay. What does marriage mean to me? I feel like for me, marriage means, and maybe this could change over time, but at least for right now, to me, marriage means a like full body, mind, body, soul, every part of you commitment to another person. And you are committing not just to being the best version of yourself for them. You're committing not just to them as a person, but you're also committing to building a life with them. Like that is what marriage means to me. It's like you're creating a team, but it's not like you're creating a team with a girlfriend. You're creating a team with someone that you love more than anybody in the world. That's what.
Yeah, actually, the ultimate commitment.
Ultimate commitment.
Ultimate commitment. Growing together as one.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love. That's a perfect example of like feminine answer, masculine answer.
I mean, it is the ultimate commitment.
I know, but I just like full went fluff, and you're just like, it's the ultimate commitment.
Yeah, that's what it means to me.
Love it. Okay. And any other questions? Don't forget, if you're like, I don't want to answer this, we don't have to answer it.
I'll
It'll
answer
just be
them.
cut. Okay. Anything you wish you did differently?
Like throughout the process?
Oh, maybe I should explain our wedding events. Let me quickly do that.
Yeah.
Well, no. Okay. So we got married in Rome, Italy, and we had our rehearsal dinner on Thursday night, welcome party Friday night, wedding Saturday, and then brunch Sunday morning. So we did rehearsal dinner on like
quite the spread of events.
Yes. We did rehearsal dinner like 2 nights earlier. Usually you'll do rehearsal dinner the night before the wedding. We did that because we didn't want all of our guests to have to fly in on the Thursday for the welcome party and then have nothing to do the next night. And then that kind of be that lull until the wedding. So we decided to do it the other way around because we figured that those close friends and family members that were coming to the rehearsal dinner, they would want to come a few days early anyway. So we just kind of worked it out like that. And then we had the actual rehearsal of the wedding ceremony on Friday morning. So it was kind of like a bit out of order, but our whole wedding was like untraditional. So
magical though.
It was fucking magical. Yeah. So we did the rehearsal dinner at the St. Regis in Rome, which actually was, do you remember when we were first there together after we went to Australia? And you were in the bathroom, and it had like the sliding doors. And I was in bed, and I was like, "Hey, babe, I just want to ask you a question. Like, don't reply. Just want to kind of like just pop it in your mind." And I was like, "Can you be open to an international wedding?" And I was like, "Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything." And then the next night, you said the same thing, reverse. You were like, "Don't reply when I say this, but just like take it in." And then you popped your head out of the sliding doors, and you were like, "It's not a no." That's all you said, and I knew what you meant. And then the next morning at breakfast, you got the person's like card to look at wedding venues. So the first place we looked at,
I was definitely not for an international wedding at the beginning.
Yeah, you weren't.
No.
We looked at non-international places too.
New York.
Yeah, we looked in New York. We looked at Atlanta.
Not really Atlanta.
We looked at one place in Atlanta.
I think it should have been here.
Well,
easier.
So that was something that you regret?
No. After doing it all, no.
Okay.
Wouldn't want to change a single part about it.
No. Anything you wish you did differently?
Okay, you go first. I don't see what links.
Mine would be, I wish we started the ceremony earlier so we had a longer night because it was so fucking good that I wish that we could have just gone longer. Like the band, the food.
Well, yeah, the sun was in my eyes.
That's right. Yeah.
If the sun was a little higher, it would make a little
that would be the one thing that I wish I did differently. And the only other thing as well was I didn't think about this, and I kind of wish that our wedding planner mentioned this. The sun sets at 7:00, like at the time that we were there, but we didn't put two and two together that we're on top of a hill. So actually the sun was setting for us. Like we lost the sun a lot earlier. So we thought that we were going to be able to have sunset photos from like 7:15 to 7:30, but actually it was like we had like 2 minutes of scrambling at like 7:00. And yeah, I would say that I wish we did differently, like just kind of thought about that. And then the only other thing as well was I felt like there could have been better communication between our MC, my brother, and Christina. Like that wasn't my brother's fault because he was following the timeline. We were running a little bit behind. So everyone started coming to dinner earlier than we were going to have them because we weren't ready for them yet. So we kind of lost that opportunity to do photos as well. But that was really it, like so minimal.
Yeah, very specific.
Very specific.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I would have wanted anything different.
Amazing.
Maybe the rehearsal being before the rehearsal dinner, but
yeah,
we didn't really have control.
We couldn't, do that. So, all right, what was both your favorite parts of the wedding and your guest's favorite part?
My favorite part was well, besides marrying you, would be the band,
the angels,
which was part of the band.
Yeah.
We had this just incredible, very immersive band that started before the ceremony with the, violin music.
Yeah.
Then it went into some live performances during the cocktail hour, which we kind of saw.
Yeah.
And then they, standing on
kind of got better and better.
It did get better and better. Yeah. But they were standing on these like platforms,
like these plinths. They were
just in the middle of like in the middle of the forest. It looked like.
Yeah.
And then there were 3 more near dinner where the angels were, and that's when they played that music.
That was like movie light.
Yeah, they had like They had the Game of Thrones theme song.
Yeah,
they had Titanic. They had Pearl Harbor.
It was emotional. People started crying again when they were going to dinner and the music was playing because it was just like everyone was so emotional already, and that just like it just.
I think the best part was them playing during dinner.
Yeah. Everyone loved that.
Getting people up during dinner, which is very untraditional, but I think I really think that made the night.
Yeah.
The band.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I would say my favorite part was
the photos.
I mean, I loved
photos.
I loved everything, like every single thing, but honestly, my favorite part was 100% walking down the aisle to you. Like I just remember feeling this like insane, overwhelming amount of love and just thinking like every single person in the world deserves to feel this amount of love for someone else. And I just felt like the ceremony was like beyond perfect. And something that I love that we did, and actually it's kind of one of the questions of like how we stayed present. I was very cognizant of staying present, and you commented on like I helped also remind you to be present. And when we got to the end of the aisle, the music was still going of like the song that we played, but we wanted that. And we actually just took a moment, like maybe like 15, 20 seconds. And we just looked around at everybody in the audience,
the audience.
Whatever.
That's a perfect, just a perfect thing you said.
And like made eye contact with, our best friends and our closest relatives. And we did that like a few other times throughout the night and on the other days too, just being really present. But honestly.
And going back after.
Oh, yeah. We went back to the ceremony space after the cake cutting and just got to kind of soak it in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like everything is my favorite part. I just loved every moment. Some of these questions I feel like I can answer with like another little segment at the end because there's like outfit questions and stuff. So I'll do that. Did you drink? Not to be TMI, but was marriage sex, drunk sex, lol? Thoughts on the topic? We don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
I drank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drank maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 maybe throughout the night. But definitely checked in with that and making sure I wasn't like going over the top. It's kind of hard not to. I mean, we had a beautiful bar.
It was
a couple things, open bar. All the events were open bar. But yeah, the energy of like just the wedding itself was kind of really all I needed. I mean, but I did have a couple cocktails.
Yeah. And I didn't drink at all. So
you had a little bit of Prosecco, like a sip.
I don't think I did.
Cake cutting.
Oh, yes, I did. The cake cutting. Like I drank. I had to sip for a second. Okay, there we go. International wedding question. Was it sad some people couldn't travel to Italy? Oh,
yes.
Yeah, there was quite a few tears shed over that.
Yeah, one of my best friends, or my best friend growing up, she could not come, which was hard. People just had a kid, or they were about to have a kid. A few of my groomsmen couldn't make it for those reasons. So yeah, that was hard. That was hard. I remember when it was happening more, Monica said, should we have picked the other date? Like, you were kind of going back. No matter when you pick your date for the wedding, there's always going to be people who can't make it.
Yeah, and like, I think for me, like, it was really hard. I'm going to cry. I don't know why. I'm so emotional. Sorry, I'm a luteal phase craze. Just, one of my best friends couldn't come from childhood, which is fine. And she was there in spirit, and one of my other bridesmaids like phoned her in, even though we were no phone ceremony. She just like had the phone there on her lap, and she was sobbing at 1 a.m. in her bed. But he was having like pregnancy complications, so that wasn't an option anyway. But I think for me, it was also like it was always going to be international for some people, no matter where we got married, because we didn't grow up in the same area. So even if we had a US wedding, there was going to be Aussies that not come, and even some Americans that still like people. I feel like no matter where you do the wedding, yes, of course, more won't be able to come if it's a far distance. But I think that no matter where you have a wedding, there's always like people that will not be able to come for various reasons.
Yeah, but regardless of where you have it, like for us, it was, if we had it in America, there would have been like primarily my family, my side.
Yeah.
Because that's easy for everyone too.
Yeah.
If it was an Australian, none of my side would have been there.
Yeah.
That way, in the middle, it kind of
felt more even.
Yeah, it felt more even.
Yeah. So if you are thinking about that, I felt like I'm really glad that we did international for so many reasons. Yeah. But one of them being like it was more even. Like there were plenty of people on Hal's side that couldn't come, plenty of people on my side that couldn't come. So, but yeah, it was sad, but it was also like I kept reminding myself. I don't know about you, but like with Tori, for example, like I would just remind myself that yes, it's like the best day of our lives, and it's so sad that she can't be there, but there's also going to be so many other amazing days of our life that she will be there.
And luckily we spent an arm and a leg for content.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the whole thing will be able to be relived.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what was the song for your first dance? So we actually had a mashup between 1,000 Years from Christina, whatever her name is, and then we did another song called Heart. It's not well known, and we mashed it up together. So it started off kind of like slow and romantic, and then it picked up to be a bit more like sexy vibes.
Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
It wasn't just a dance. It was it was not just a dance. It was a 3.5 minute choreographed performance that we spent months.
3 minutes and 19 seconds.
We spent months practicing, which was good.
It was
a really, really good
dance instructor.
So if you're ever in need of one, she does remote too.
We'll tag her in the
she's amazing
in the comments, the description.
We love Mary.
Yeah, we love Mary. Jess, as in my cousin, was like, when can we do it all again? 10-year anniversary. Okay. Did anything go wrong or not go to plan? How did you both handle?
There's a little bit of drama with the welcome party with the rain. So it wasn't supposed to rain, and it ended up raining in the afternoon, and our welcome party was supposed to be on the rooftop of the Hotel de la Ville, which is a beautiful hotel near the Spanish Steps. And we really wanted it on the rooftop.
Yeah.
But we were kind of already approaching the upper limit of the amount of people who could be up there, which is like 130, and we were right at that for the welcome party. So the rain plan was to have it inside, downstairs, and
in like a beautiful room, by the way. Like,
and we ended up having it there. We didn't.
Like we had an outside area with like a beautiful courtyard. Like it's stunning, no matter what.
One of these things where it was raining literally up until the start of the welcome party, and then it was going to be clear all night. So they kept asking us what we wanted to do, and I'm like, we want to have it outside. So wait as long as you can, and it got a little bit stressful, but not really for us. I feel like for the wedding planner, and maybe our mothers, but it ended up being beautiful. Yeah.
And I feel like a really important thing for those people that are getting married is we made our focus. So I really there was that moment of stress with the welcome party, but it was also coupled with like extremely heightened emotions, not because things were stressful, but because like when I walked into, even just seeing people like arrive at the hotel and
we have all these people flying
like,
so far.
It was extremely emotional for me. I was like sobbing at the welcome party just when I walked in the room and had to remove myself because I couldn't gather myself, because just seeing like our best friends and family members travel so far, it was just, it was a lot. And then, it was a lot in like in a good way. But we also really had our focus for every single event being like, the focus of this event is love, like our love and the love of the people here, and just feeling so grateful that everybody is here to celebrate our love. And so we weren't stressed about little things. And that was kind of the whole way through the wedding process of just, we weren't worried about these little nitpicky things. Like, you know, I wanted the flowers to be a certain color and like those sorts of things. But I would say that to our florist at the end of the day, like, do what looks good, because I trust the people that we've hired to do an amazing job. And
you had 1,000 meetings leading up to it, so they knew what you needed.
Yes. And like, my focus was to marry the man that I love, not for things to be like anally perfect, because nobody cares about that. And no one notices that anyway. Yeah, so that was kind of it. And then I will say, like, the first day when everything started, the rehearsal dinner day, we were like, well, I was extremely nervous, like butterflies. It was just like a lot, like, oh my God, it's starting. And I'm glad that we had those 2 events leading up to the wedding, because on the wedding day, I was so relaxed. I was so at ease. Even the welcome party day, I was way more chill than the rehearsal dinner. And I feel like it's just that kind of ripping off the Band-Aid, breaking the ice. And because then I'd seen everybody and the weekend had started, then come welcome party where everybody was there, and then wedding, and then brunch, I was so much more just like carefree and not like anxious or having all these butterflies. So if you can, definitely recommend kind of being able to give yourself those few days before the actual wedding day. Were you able to feel present, or did it feel like it flew by in a blur?
Both. I was definitely making sure to be present during all of it. It was a little bit hard, like leading up to the wedding, like in the morning, and not getting in your head or too, you know, the nerves. But I think we did a really good job of that. Yeah,
I feel like the day that the event that I struggled the most, or that I just kind of like didn't do my thing, where I just stopped and like took a picture in my mind of everything and just received the room, was the welcome party. I did a really good job at the rehearsal dinner, the wedding, and the brunch. So at the rehearsal dinner, like, what I basically would do is I would go stand at the end of the room, and I did this at the wedding as well, and whatnot. People would come up to me being like, "Oh, Monica, you're alone. Like, the bride can't be alone." I'm like, "No, I'm so happy," because I would just be taking in, like, seeing everybody having their experience, just taking in the room. And I also meditated every day as well, so I could be really present. And I just really focused on like slowing down in the events and just literally like soaking everything in like a sponge. But it also flew by in a blur. We had a 4-day wedding, so I can't even imagine how quickly wedding day flies by for those couples that only have the wedding day. Like, that would just be crazy. Okay, Alex, question. When did you both know that you would marry each other?
Very early. I mean, I'm older than you. I'm 33. And at the time when I had met you, I was, at least in my mind, was only going to engage and date with women who were serious about that. And so we asked, I think I asked that like the very first weekend.
Yeah.
Didn't I?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we were texting after the chairlift, I even said to you when you asked me out, and I was like, I'm really interested in long-term, sexy, healthy, committed relations or something like that. I know.
I probably was so confused when I read sexy. What is this sexy long-term? What does that look like? What is that?
Yeah, we knew very early on. We kind of made sure that we were both heading in the same direction.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, when I knew that I would, I guess I didn't know that I would marry him per se. The way that I knew was that I never wondered. I never thought to myself, I never thought to myself, like, I go with other guys, ooh, I wonder if I'm going to marry him, or I wonder if, we're going to be together forever, any of those things. Like with Hal, I never wondered. It was just like, and of course, like, it just felt like inevitable. That's just like how it was going to be. And I never even considered whether I was going to, because it wasn't a question. So there was never a moment where I was like, oh, I'm going to marry this guy. It was just like inevitable. One other thing that we forgot to mention to you guys is that some of you would have seen it on the Instagram post, is that obviously we couldn't fly our 4 dogs to Rome. And a lot of people have their dogs at their wedding, obviously, if they can. And that was something that we were bummed about. I really tried to pitch to Hal the idea of bringing the boys. And that was an absolute...
No, it was an all or none.
No.
It was all or none.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
No, but I just mean like, because Mam and Phoebe's up for the girl. I know, but they're too big. Anyway, so what we did instead was we organized to have a big picture of them printed that we took in the backyard. Hal took it.
I think a separate thing.
But we made sure that like the background was all green. So on the easel at the place, like at the venue, it kind of blended in with all the greenery in the background. So I knew that was going to be there.
Which I was kind of like trying to be like, are you sure? Because I was doing a whole separate surprise, which was what I did was I got a picture. It was kind of like it
was from when we like first started dating.
Yeah, no, but it was a picture of the dogs. And it was like, but it wasn't like just a picture printed. And long story short, I put
it was printed on fabric.
It was printed on fabric, but it had like a kind of like a, what do you call it when it looked a little animated? Not animated, but it wasn't.
Oh, it's like when you go in photo booth and take a picture and then you add like the sketch.
Yeah, it was like So it looked good. Well, it wasn't just like a picture printed in my jacket. It was pretty big though. I mean, it was a foot wide probably.
Yeah.
So I had our seamstress add that in the jacket. So then I was supposed to do it when you were walking it down at the.
But instead, you were telling me, "I love you. I love you. I love you."
Too many minutes. I forgot to do it then, and I realized it in the middle of the ceremony when your dad was speaking.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck, what am I gonna?" You might have seen when I saw it because I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh, I didn't even notice that, but I love that we had like our own little moment while Dad was speaking, and you opened your jacket to show me.
Yeah.
Which did not help the waterworks that was happening over a lot of years. Healthy Love. This is a hybrid experience between one-on-one and group coaching. So it's hybrid in the sense of it's really high touch. It's very intimate with me. The whole program is live. And so we have 2 calls a month for a 4-month period. We're going over the holiday period, but we're actually taking a full break for that month over the holiday period. Healthy Love kind of came to fruition. And essentially who it's for is for the person and for the couple potentially, because couples can actually join, that aren't just focused on fixing what's quote unquote wrong in their relationship. It's also about elevating what's beautiful. And so I made this hybrid because I wanted to be able to create an experience that gave you that high touch intimacy like one-on-one does, but isn't full-blown one-on-one. So essentially this idea behind Healthy Love, idea that I've been like pondering on for a while, how do I blend group and one-on-one together? So essentially how it's working is when you guys are filling out your applications to join Healthy Love, the people that actually join Healthy Love, I will be using what they filled out in their applications to then actually create the whole entire flow and like outline of the program. So when you go on the website page, you'll see what we're covering in the program. I obviously know the things that everybody's going to be working on. So we're working on attachment theory. We're working on ego and love. We're working on polarity and intimacy. We're working on communication. We're working on what it actually takes to create healthy love. So we're obviously working on all of those things, but the added bits is what you need help with. So you actually get to make this program yours. You get to make Healthy Love what you need, what you and your partner need. There is going to be a Telegram group as well. So that gives you even more access for questions, for shares, for things you need to clarify. And what I'm very excited about is that couples are welcome to join. You can join just as you, or you and your partner can join. I truly feel like Healthy Love is the program that's missing out there because it's not this like tantric, super woo-woo. So this isn't a program where you're just going to be learning. This is actually a program where there'll be learning, but there's also going to be healing on the call. There's going to be healing. There's going to be somatic work. There's going to be integration. There's going to be homework. And of course, there's going to be the embodiment. And because we have the Telegram group, that really will be the space for the integration and the embodiment because you really have me in your back pocket to help you as you're actually going through these things. This program is for those of you that want to be able to be a functioning human, but also show up as your best self. Whether you are navigating challenges in your relationship or whether you're just wanting to elevate what's already good, whether you're wanting to feel even more cherished, loved, seen, desired, wanted, understood, validated, honored, protected, this is the program for you because this program is really giving you tools and practices and healing that is going to create that deep, lasting change that you're probably craving in your relationship. So yeah, if you want to do Healthy Love, it's application only. So make sure that you get your application in ASAP. You can get $500 off until October 18th. Doors are closing on October 31st. We start at the very beginning of November, and then we'll be running for until the end of March with that break over Christmas. Anyone is welcome. We're doing it all completely online. This is the best thing to be doing, especially if you have been wanting to do couples work with me or you've been wanting to do more of that relationship work with me. I'm so excited for those of you that have already joined, and I'm so excited for those of you that are joining. What ended up being both of your favorites from the weekend? I'm assuming like both of your favorite events from the weekend. what event ended up being both of your favorites from the weekend?
The wedding.
The wedding, 1,000%, hands down.
Yeah, so we recently went to one of my cousin's wedding, which was 3 weeks after ours. Yeah. And a lot of people who were at our wedding were also there. And so it was the first time we really got to speak to a lot of people about it. And we had heard, it was magical and whatnot, but it really, we really heard it this weekend, just how much people, we heard everything from it's they feel different after the wedding. They feel refreshed. They feel like they have a whole different mindset.
I feel like people were healed after the wedding.
I definitely get that vibe.
Yeah.
It's just good to know that they felt what we felt.
Oh, they felt, yeah. I mean, there's a question about the crying, so we'll get to that in a second. But definitely the wedding was the favorite event. Okay, cool. Anything else? Like another question was, what was the most special part of the weekend for both of you? I also loved the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, I love it.
Like the rehearsal. I mean, every event was such a different vibe.
The speeches were very
speeches.
The rehearsal dinner speeches.
Yeah, they were
my
really
sister,
my cousin,
my father. Yeah, they were really, really hard.
Yeah, and we also did like a little bit of an open mic night kind of thing. I mean, not fully at the welcome party. There was kind of too many people, but there was quite a few people that gave little speeches and stories at the welcome party, which was really nice. So it was kind of like one of my bridesmaids, one of your groomsmen, and that kind of thing, which just helped people that also, either hadn't seen us in a long time or didn't know one of us. It helped them to get to know us a little bit more and get to know our relationship. So I really liked that. But every event was such a different vibe that I feel like I can't even compare them. Like the rehearsal dinner was like something out of Bridgerton. And then the welcome party was a lot more like Italian fun, colorful vibes. Right. Wedding, and then the brunch was like garden party, like so like classy. It was nice. There are some questions that I'm excited to get into for our next episode. What did you do each day? So I'm assuming that means like in the morning before the events.
Well, I remember the wedding morning for sure, but the other mornings I don't know, what did we do each day? We didn't plan anything each day. So that way we were not like stressed and running around. But like rehearsal dinner day, I think we went to the spa, remember? Oh, we did. We
went to the spa. We literally just like hung out. We had long breakfast. Like we did not put anything on our agenda.
I'm sure not to get. Okay, and then people were coming in town, so that was started to be stimulating.
Yes.
So there were a few friends of mine who I remember this who made the commitment to come. They were going to come no matter what. And so there were a few people who I, wanted to go say hi to and spend time with.
Yeah.
When they got there.
Yeah.
So I did that on Thursday, and I think I did that on Friday.
Yeah. It's kind of easier for a guy to do more during the day because it takes them 30 seconds to get ready, whereas I needed like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when did you get sick? Did it affect your wedding and honeymoon? Everyone basically got sick right after our wedding. We got sick too, but not like horrendously bad. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of like a cold and like a bit of like a light cough kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit of sore throat. But not.
Yeah, it didn't affect our honeymoon. We didn't let it affect our honeymoon. One thing that I mentioned in a blog that I did about our honeymoon that I really loved that we did, I'm curious your thoughts too, is like we didn't jam pack our itinerary full. We really that was you. I know, but you did a good job, babe. And we actually chilled at each place. So we were not running around. Being a little bit sick prevented us from like doing a heap of activities, but I'm kind of glad that it worked out that way. Yeah, in the beginning, because we just got to then be in our love bubble and enjoy the hotels. We were staying at like beautiful hotels. So it all ended up being like perfect, meant to be. Did Hal cry when you walked down the aisle?
What's the definition of cry here? I mean, this is a debate. Is it like actual tears? Is it tears falling?
You absolutely man cried. Absolutely man cried.
For sure.
It was hysterical.
There wasn't tears falling, but they were in my eyes.
Yeah.
And it was in my face. Like, it was in my face.
Yeah, it was that hold back. Like, would be, in the longer videos, you can really see, how much you were trying to hold back. It was extremely intense. Our wedding planner, who love her to pieces, but she is not emotional. She gets the job done.
Yeah.
She was sobbing her eyes out. She actually had to leave. We didn't know where she went. She had to leave and then collect herself and then come back. Her assistant was sobbing. Everybody in the audience, we honestly should have provided tissues. Everybody in the audience was sobbing. We wanted it to be like that, though. We really wanted the ceremony.
Back to the question about me. I'm not an emotional person. Like, I'm not an emotional from like a visual.
Yes. You're more emotional than, I would say, than what people perceive a masculine man to be. Like, you're deep. That's what you meant. You're very deep. And I assumed that you would cry.
I don't think I've cried once since we since we've known each other. Until the wedding.
Yeah.
I really don't think. So like, I know, I remember standing up there. It was a very intense.
Very
hard too.
And you could hear me crying.
I heard you cry when you were coming down the aisle.
Yeah. I was sobbing like the full, that was literally.
I think the music really also contributed to it.
Definitely did. We had like an amazing song for the aisle that really added to it and that got people crying as well. And I walked super slow. Like I also milked it. Like I wanted everybody to be sobbing and I wanted to be sobbing and it all happened. I mean, when I got handed my bouquet, there was like a tree and I had to stand behind the tree because I saw Hal's head and that just like set me off. And I was like, oh my God, I'm literally going to be a Black Panther, like my eyes by the time I get down the aisle. So I had to think about a man's butt crack as he lays bricks. That's what I was thinking about.
What?
Yeah. So that I stopped crying when I was at the end, but like before I walked down after the Flower Girls. And then once I started walking down the aisle and like saw you, it was really hard. Like I was crying a lot, but that was my holding back. Like I wasn't even like fully going. Most stressful part and best ways to avoid stress.
Plan ahead to avoid, like get all the shit done before.
Yeah.
And which brings me to another point that a lot of people had said, and they were said in the speeches is, I think what made it so special the whole weekend is that, I'm speaking generally here, but a lot of people, you know, their parents are heavily involved in the wedding planning. And you know, you have all these external people inserting their opinions. And I think for us, you had all the ideas. I helped with the contracts and getting everything implemented. And I was very involved in the wedding planning and I'm very grateful for that. Yeah. I wasn't expecting it, but we did it all. I mean, we did it. We did it all. Obviously with the wedding planner stuff, but we didn't have those external factors that
like external opinions where like often the parents for various reasons, you know, like and their opinions have to be listened to and it's like extremely stressful and there's a lot of fighting and stuff and we didn't have that. So I feel like that was very that was the outcome that was felt in the wedding. Yes. And I would say also like we were not following this script of like, this is what a wedding's meant to be. This is how we have to, like, this is like how you do a wedding. We really were just like, this wedding should be an extension of our love. And so it was, you know, untraditional in a sense. It was organic. It was authentic. And like that way it also wasn't us trying to fit ourselves in a box to like suit a certain agenda or whatever. But also for the stress part, get a wedding planner. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know how people do a wedding without a wedding planner. I mean, you don't have to, I mean, you can get engaged with a wedding planner at certain times. You can do it from the beginning. You can do it after you found the venue. We did after we found the venue. Yes, we did. From the venue first, and we the wedding planner to kind of help with all the remaining stuff, but definitely get that. Like even I know some people will do it all themselves and then hire a wedding coordinator. And obviously I can't speak to that because we haven't experienced that. But to be able to have a relationship with one person for a year, they fully know you. You can trust them. Like they know your vibe. They know the whole vibe of the wedding. They can recommend things. Like at the end of the day, you've never had a wedding before. So like you are not the expert. You actually don't know the best way to do something. And so, yeah, we could never have done this without Christina's help. Yeah, she was amazing. Which part of your days were your highlights? Oh, yeah, I believe we were talking about that. Yeah. I would just say that the getting ready with my bridesmaids was also really amazing. Yeah, I think just the quality time with our friends and family. Like, I feel like I've been to a lot of weddings where you don't get that. I think that by spreading our events out, we really got to have some good quality time with the people we love most. Yeah. A lot of my friends and a lot of your friends who I had not met, they have become good friends. Yeah, which was amazing. Awesome to see. But it's hard no matter what. Like, we didn't have a massive wedding. We had 130 something people. 140 people. Okay, 140 people. It's a lot for a destination. Yes, you're for a destination wedding. But like what I'm saying is, even with like, you know, with like we had 300 people and we had 4 events, I still felt like, oh my God, I did not get to speak to people enough. And so which is so normal. And so I've had to just remind myself that like people didn't come to the wedding because they wanted something deep and meaningful with me or with Hal. They came to the wedding to support us. And to just see our love. Yeah. And to like be there and to support us. I will say though, one of my favorite parts of the weekend was when we got that upgrade. So the St. Regis, which is where we stay. We always stay there in Rome and it's amazing. They've kind of like... Well, we got another, let me explain the story. We got another room from the night before the wedding so that we would sleep in separate rooms because we didn't do a first look. Yeah. So we got that early on Friday and then they were going to let us have it until we went to the wedding on Saturday.
So we had secured that ahead of time, and got a suite. They have a couple of different suite options, and obviously we're not gonna. We didn't need it's called the Royal Suite, which was like it's probably 3,000 square feet.
It was that at Grand Piano.
So what happened was they ended up. I think it was because we had a really good relationship with them. We had them for the rehearsal dinner. We had a lot of people stay there. We stay there all the time.
Yeah.
So they ended up surprising us at the last minute. They said, "Oh, they were like really excited for me to check into that room. Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
And then they ended up giving us that Royal Suite, which was incredible because we both could end up getting ready without seeing each other on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's how big it was.
Which was so special because we didn't end up doing a first look. I thought that was one of the questions in here because if you followed me for a while, I was kind of umming and ahhing about this, which we'll talk about in a second. Glad we didn't do a first look. But we really wanted to just be together on this special day and not be separate the whole day. And so it was so special to literally have each other in essentially the room next door. We can hear each other getting ready and giggling and doing whatever. Well, not the boys giggling, they were watching the news, but anyway. But we were not seeing each other because there was a foyer area in the middle. And so that was really special just to kind of be in each other's energies. Yeah. And the room was incredible as well.
We walked in there's a big right room, which is where me and my girls were. And then there was the left side, which had another living room and then the bedroom and then the massive bathroom.
Yeah.
So it was great.
And I'll quickly say this as well, regarding hair and makeup for the ladies. I can't recommend enough choosing, if you can, especially if you're doing destination. I know it's a bigger choice to do this, but we flew my makeup artist from New York over, and then my mum's hairdresser, who I know as well, from Australia over. We were umming and ahhing between her and then my hairstylist here in Atlanta. And no, they're not any big Instagram people or blah, blah, blah. But I didn't care about that because I wanted people, especially the hair and makeup. I want to look like myself. That was a big thing that Hal also wanted as well. He was like, you're not going to have too much makeup on or anything. And of course, that's not my vibe. You guys know that. And so I didn't want to be working with somebody where I felt like I couldn't, because there's that weird thing, chicks get this of even though we're paying and I can speak up, I don't feel comfortable sometimes, depending on what the energy is with the vendor or the makeup artist or the hairdresser, to be actually, I'm not happy with this, or to give some direction. Because people can kind of be a bit funny about they're the expert, they're the artist and whatever. So I felt so beautiful on the day. Brooke did such an amazing job of my hair. She even used my curling one because I was I know my curls stay with my curling one. And she was yep, if you want your curling one, we'll do yours. Natalie made me feel beautiful in my makeup and everything. And she knew we didn't want too much contouring or over the top or anything like that. And I just felt that was a really big thing for the ladies, to have a hair and makeup artist that just you feel really comfortable around, because there's, people have some horror stories about those things. So for those of you that want to spice up your love life, if you have not listened or watched, you could listen or you could watch it, to my free masterclass on how to have him lead you. You are missing out and you want to grab that right now. This masterclass is basically guiding you on how to step out of that mothering and fully embrace being his lover. It's 1 hour with me, and it's really going to help you to figure out why he's not leading, and then what you could do to support him in stepping into his masculine leadership and claiming you and being that protector that you're really craving him to be. So you can register at the link below in the podcast notes. And this is for you if you are dating or in a relationship and you're wanting to feel wanted by him. You do not want to be nagging him anymore. You want to feel protected and provided for. You want to feel that soul nourishing juiciness that comes from a man that is just claiming you, leading you, and having all of that masculine energy. If you want to be told, I'm picking you up at 8 p.m. or this is what we're doing, or get into bed right now, I need to ravish you or take your clothes off. This masterclass is absolutely what you need. And what I'm going to break down for you guys in the masterclass is the difference between men and women and the differences that we need to pay attention to. I'm also going to walk you through the 4 possible causes as to why he's not leading you, and then of course, what you need to do. I'm going to go through the difference between the lover and the mother archetypes. I'm going to walk you through what the feminine actually wants and how to get her needs met, your needs met, if you're a woman listening to this, and then the 3 steps to get him to lead you for good. So if you want the masterclass, click the link below and you can register for free. Let me know your thoughts on it. I've been really, really enjoying doing these masterclasses for you guys. It's a little bit of like a different way to deliver some of this juicy content and having that visual aspect as well. And like a vibey backdrop. You guys know I'm like a sucker for a vibe. So yeah, link is below and let's jump back into the episode. Oh, this is a good one. Are there any fears? First look really quick, and then we'll do this one just whilst we're on the topic. A first look. So we didn't do a first look, and what we did instead was we had breakfast together at 9 a.m. downstairs. I'm really glad that we didn't end up doing a first look. Are you glad?
Yeah, I was one who didn't want it.
Yeah.
I didn't. You kept going back and forth like, no, we're not doing it. And you're like, oh, should we do that? I'm like, nope, we're not doing it.
Hal did not want a first look. I wanted the first look because I wanted to spend just like at least 30 minutes together on that Which we did, right? We didn't sleep in we slept in separate rooms like Hal said. So that was great. And it was actually like sexy and fun to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So we slept in separate rooms, but then we met downstairs for breakfast, which was really nice. And then
we knew each other some things that, with memorable things.
Yeah.
Keep ourselves grounded and
And then we obviously saw each other at an aisle. Are there any fears / thoughts that you had about showing vulnerability to your guests on your wedding day?
Oh,
not
yes.
me.
Yes. Yeah, big time. Especially during our vows. So I've been to a couple weddings where people have said their own vows, which I think is amazing. I never thought I would be that person because that's just spilling your emotions and who you are and your vulnerabilities to the world, which is not a bad thing.
Then you met me.
But then I met and that was something you really wanted, obviously. So that was the hardest thing I had to do, was write my vows, because you want to show your love and your vulnerabilities to your partner, but you also have an audience. And no matter what anyone says, you have an audience there. So you have to consider that when you're writing these vows. You want to make it a little bit funny. You are balancing all these things. You're also doing it on a microphone in front of everyone and right after you walk down the aisle. So you don't know how you're going to be. So that was challenging for me. I mean,
how was it though?
It was great. You're in this trance when you're doing it anyway, but that part of writing it and getting it to that final stage, that was challenging, but doing it was great.
And so you're glad that we did.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
For sure.
Yeah, good. So yeah, there was none for me. Although I will say actually, and Hal was very surprised about this, as with everybody else, I was extremely nervous about our first dance. Like, so many butterflies. And you guys know, like, I am not afraid of a performance. I did a full Hannah Montana performance that I need to put on Instagram soon. That was separate from like our dance. That was later in the night anyway. So like, I'm not afraid of, the limelight being on me and people looking at me. No, Hal was not nervous at all. I was petrified, but also I'm not like a seasoned good dancer. Hal is a very good dancer, like as in like a partner dancer. I'm a good lap dancer, but that's it.
You are.
Anyway, I was extremely nervous about that, and you were so calm, and we crushed it.
Yeah, because it was towards we did ours untraditional. Like we did our dance like late. It was dark out.
We did ours like after the main gloss, I think.
Yeah.
But dinner hadn't ended yet. Some people do it after dinner.
Yeah, well, maybe it was because we had a whole separate stage for our dance.
And I had to do an outfit change because I couldn't dance at my wedding.
And then another outfit change.
Yes. Okay. Okay, let's do this one to finish up, and then the rest of the questions are for the next episode. So if we didn't answer them, that's why. Did you have so this is for you, did you have any idea of what kind of dress Monica would have before you saw her?
This is a great question, because speaking of the dresses, we all know, and probably everyone who's listening to this, Monica's extra, right? and that's one thing that I love about you. But I feel like you were trying to balance what I wanted and what you wanted.
Yeah.
So I thought I was actually going to be a little bit more extra than what.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was be more the lacy.
No, the tulle.
The tulle.
Yeah. So when I sent him a picture of a tulle dress at one point, and he goes, "Isn't that what goes under the dress?" And I was like, "Oh dear Lord," he did not want tulle. And I initially actually the first design of my dress that I did with Stephen was tulle.
Yeah.
And then on a flight, I can record this in a later chunk of how my dress kind of came about. I'll do that in a later chunk.
But no, I think you nailed it. First of all, you nailed it. You looked absolutely stunning. You were gorgeous, and I think that you balanced it perfectly, because it was everything I wanted and more. Like, Seriously. And so I actually thought it was going to be more like, I thought it was going to be tight all the way down to like the mid thigh.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like those weird looking ones.
A mermaid dress. Yeah, not my style.
Okay, good.
Each to their own. I know for some women it's their style. I tried on a dress like that. And like it looked nice. Like I like the way it like hugged my body. But you know what? All I thought about with the dresses, one of the things was I need to be able to have the potential of being bloated on the day because I'm so nervous or so stressed, and not being worried about, oh my God, you can see that. And then like sucking in and it's still kind of looking funny. And I also wanted to feel like I could eat. And if I was a little bit bloated, no one was going to see it through my dress. So I was cognizant of that because, as we know, ladies, it's always like the day you're wearing a tight dress, you get bloated, and then it ruins your whole entire vibe. So I knew that I didn't even want that as an option. But I also always wanted like a big dress.
Yeah. I just think it was a beautiful blend of like elegance, classic, modern, timeless.
Oh, yeah. It was modern and sexy. It was a little bit see-through. The way the bodice was done, I added those modern elements through different parts I'll speak about in a separate section.
Yeah, but it looked gorgeous.
Yay. Thanks, babe. Okay. Are there any other things you want to share about the wedding?
Next episode?
Oh, we're going to do another episode?
Oh,
yes. But the next one is more like us, not wedding stuff. But I guess if you think of anything else, you can drop it in there. But is there anything else you want to share?
Just the best weekend of my life so far.
Yeah.
Wish we could do it again.
I know.
It was magical.
It was really magical. And I will say, like, one thing that we said after the wedding was like every penny was worth it.
Yeah.
Like there was like towards the end, we were just like, oh my God, like throwing cash. It felt like it was just kind of, and everyone that's gotten married knows that. It's that meme of like, you're like so budgety at the beginning, and then 2 months out, it's that guy that's just like spraying cash. Like that is literally.
And then when you get closer to it, you're like, doesn't matter, just pay it.
Yeah. Right.
And to me, you are kind of, at the end of it, you are kind of.
You're trapped. You don't really have an option.
Yeah. So you
don't have an option. And it can get kind of infuriating because you're like, oh my fucking God, I feel like I'm being trapped into paying all of this. But then
that's why it's good to plan ahead and set those, you can set, we didn't really set a strict budget with our wedding planner, which is something you traditionally do.
Yeah. Well, our budget wasn't going to be feasible with the kind of wedding that we wanted.
Well, no, you still have a budget for.
Right. Oh, like, as in like you track your expenses.
Well, no, I'm saying you can say you had a $3 million wedding.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
That's still a budget.
Yes.
The budget doesn't necessarily mean cheap. They're just saying,
I know that.
We didn't give her one. We didn't. We
gave it like a number, but we also, our focus was like, we want our dream weekend, but we also weren't going to like blow the roof off. Like we didn't do anything, in my opinion.
I wouldn't recommend doing it how we did it that way. I would recommend trying to get that number.
Yeah.
But it all worked out.
But we didn't, and also like we didn't actually have anything that was like out of control, blow the roof off. We did some DIY things, like we kept things minimal. Our most expensive thing was the band. But that was like worth every single penny. But
it was band plus lights,
plus lighting and
maybe all that
travel and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it wasn't like we just were choosing the most expensive things and being like, whoa, let's do that. We actually were really cognizant of money. But even being cognizant of money, like our focus was, we want this to be an amazing weekend. And so we just balanced that between like not being in like full scarcity, but also not just like being like bucket for every single thing.
No, we pushed back a lot.
Yeah, well, we did.
I negotiated very successfully.
Yes. Oh, you did, babe. It was amazing.
Yeah.
All right. I love you too.
Great first episode, right?
Great first episode, babe, with your wife.
Yeah, my old wife.
Yes. All right. So next episode, we're talking about more like relationship things. So we'll see you guys on the next episode. The end.
Bye-bye.
Bye.